how many homeless people are we just going to say, well, if they die, that's one less problem?
20 years. That's how long we've had to better prepare for pandemics after the SARS outbreak in the early 2000s and H1N1 at the end of the decade. But a researcher who surveyed key decision makers and the homeless in a handful of cities after H1N1 says little has changed.
There wasn't a good substantial coordination that would allow a singular response to deal with the multiple implications of a pandemic in the homeless sector. And unfortunately, nobody learned much of a lesson from that.
She says clients didn't trust shelter staff.
They were more likely to trust their healthcare providers when they could access them. The majority would prefer to not sleep in shelters if there was any alternative, because they saw shelters as a source of contamination. Rightfully so. I mean, we all know that shelters are a source of contamination. Why should homeless people be any less aware of that than others?
The shelters themselves weren't, and in many cases still aren't, prepared for even basic hygiene. And even workers are ill-prepared, with almost half of frontline workers having less than 2 years of experience and little to no training.
45% of them do not have more than 2 years of post-secondary, but that diploma usually was not in human services. It came from all over the place.
And they also suffer.
Between 36 and 41% of staff working in homeless services have symptoms of traumatic stress such that they might qualify for a PTSD diagnosis.
But she says we can turn it around, beginning with social distancing, opening up more unused hotel space rather than using convention centers, and recognizing some programs simply won't work for a mobile population.
So we ask people to shelter or shelter in place, but these people have no place to shelter. They have no place to store food. They're forced, in order to meet their basic needs, they're forced out into the community and forced to be around other people, whether they like it or not.
In Calgary, Jonathan Muma, City News.